Welcome to the Basketball Fiends Podcast, a proud member of the Argentina Podcast Network. My name is Jesus Acevedo Jr., and I'm joined by Alex Aguilera, and we are back together. Our first time together in 2 weeks, and a lot has happened since we last spoke, Alex. A lot of awards were given out. Teams have gone fishing, as the TNT crew like to say. Which I gotta give them props. Over the years, that bit has just gotten better and better as technology has gotten better. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's like you don't feel as bad about teams that get bounced. You're just kind of like, all right, that's like, it's just funny. Like just I don't know, just the way they pull the humor out of it. You're just kind of like, man, I don't know, just the chemistry on that show is something else. Won't ever be replicated. So it's like, it's always a good time.
Yeah, it's always a good time. If you haven't watched their documentary, I think it's on HBO. It's about the Inside the NBA.
Yeah, I love that documentary.
A great documentary.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea how we started talking about TNT Inside the NBA, but it's always a good watch. I know there's something that's been a good watch is Moon Knight, which I know you haven't watched the finale, so we're not going to speak about it. But I'll bring up Moon Knight, because in Moon Knight, something we can talk in abstract is he has multiple personalities, right? To the and there's a player on the Philadelphia 76ers, Alex, that I wonder if he wishes he could just for a game or two switch personalities and be that Houston Harden that everybody, well, at least here in Houston, liked to see him play, when he was scoring 40, 50, 60 points and not getting enough love, and now everybody wants him to be that player again. So we're talking about James Harden because his Philadelphia 76ers, and they're his 76ers because Joel Embiid is out. There's no timetable for his return. That's one of the many things that have happened since we last spoke, Alex. So without it and B, this is Harden's team right now, and to be honest, he hasn't been the Harden that we're used to seeing. But it's not just all on him. But yeah, the 76ers are down 0-2 to Miami, and for me, Alex, at least I think the series is over.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when there isn't any timetable for Joel Embiid. I mean, he's had an MVP caliber year. I think he may be, the favorite to win it this year. And yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, like James Harden hasn't been, I don't want to say the James Harden of old, or just the Houston James Harden, like you said, that we had grown accustomed to and maybe took for granted because we're just so used to him just dropping boatloads of points each and every night. And I mean, he's more than capable of being that player still, but I feel like you can tell like he's still trying to fit his footing per se, with the 76ers, just kind of like ever since he left Houston and all that drama. Because I mean, I know he had dropped like 20, right, in game 2.
Yes.
Right.
Around there, yeah.
Right, something like that. But yeah, you could kind of. I know it was Tyrese Maxey that actually ended up having the big game
in game two, and in game 1 it was Tobias Harris. So it's always been somebody besides Harden. And look, even when Embiid was playing, Harden wasn't scoring that much, but his assists were up. He was getting 20, 15.
Yeah.
Just hey, I'll take that. And the 76ers were taking it. But yes, right now, something else I'll say about James Harden. I know he got the hamstring injury last year, and at times it feels like he's still not pushing when he used to push. And I think back of a player, CP3, right? Chris Paul had a similar hamstring injury with the Rockets in 2018. That 2019 season, he was Chris Paul. He had good games, but he wasn't the Chris Paul of old. And in that offseason is when he changed his whole regime. I think that's when he went vegan. And of course, his hamstring was more healed and he had more confidence in it. Now, look what Chris Paul is doing at about to turn 37 in a week or two, right? So I think this is where Harden has to make a decision. Be like, is this where I have to adjust my offseason plans if I want to have a prolonged NBA career?
Yeah.
I think Chris Paul is starting to show an example that, hey, it can be done. It can be done. And I watched James Harden a lot. Great player here in Houston. But let's be honest, he always came into camp not in the best of shape. He worked himself into shape, which is a testament to his skills that he was still in the early parts of the season going for high scoring numbers, being out of shape, right?
Quote unquote,
right? Out of shape. But the thing is, he's also older. You're your 20s right now. Alex. So
Yeah,
you can burn a lot of fat right now. You can burn a lot of calories, and you're like up. I'm in my 38, 39, about to be in June. So it's a different. I think Harden's what 33, 32.
yeah,
So
early
he
30s.
early 30s. So he has to make that decision. How if he wants to have a prolonged career, he needs to have a great offseason. And to be honest, that's if he signs with the 76ers, which is all the indications that I've seen. I think the 76ers are going to come back next season on fire. But not to take anything away from Miami, man. Miami Heat, their defense, you know me. I love me some defense, and
Right.
they are some dogs on that team, man. They know how to play good team defense, and they're on a collision course with the. Which I'll say right now, I think my pick is the Bucks now, the Bucks and the Heat, and I think that's gonna be a good series. And them, they have a history in the past couple of playoffs. First in the bubble, and then the Bucks championship year, the Bucks got payback. So it's the Heat are a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, man, that team is just so deep. Obviously, headlining it is Jimmy Butler. We all know what he can do. But I've actually like really enjoyed the addition of PJ Tucker. I think he just meshes well. Um, like just them, as a gritty team. He's not the guy that's gonna blow up the box score. But like you said, he's a defensive guy. He's gonna do the dirty work and get the job done. Bam Adebayo, I feel like he's kind of coming into his own. You had Tyler Hero. I feel like last season he
Six man of the year.
slumped a little bit. And now he's sort of bounced back, right? And is won the six man award. You see Oladipo sort of finding his groove with the Heat. So yeah, man. I mean, just
That
I
that
feel like
that's
everyone
that's the
knows their
one.
role there.
The reemergence of Victor Oladipo is a huge boost to the Heat's team. Because let's be honest, he didn't come back until what the latter half of the second half of the
Yeah,
season. So he's still even working himself back into playing basketball. He's still coming back from an injury, and if he can give them what he's been giving them these playoffs off the bench, oh my god, him
right.
and Tyler Hero
That's
off the bench. Come on, are you
like
kidding
that's a
me?
second unit.
That's the
That's a
second
second
unit.
unit.
And Victor Oladipo, at any point, any game, he's gonna bust down, have a 30+ point game. I already see it coming. We've seen the skill he had. But yeah, I think the Miami Heat are on the collision course for the finals, for the Eastern Conference Finals. Look, finals is definitely in there. I'm pretty sure they can see it. It's right there over the horizon. The way they keep playing. One team that Alex has been just like they've been like a horse with just blinders on. They're just like focused. It's the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
They're
Yep.
like laser. I don't think I've ever been that focused in my life. How Phoenix Suns has been as focused this season. And they're up 2-0 on the Mavs. Chris Paul putting on a show. They call him point guard, but they may have to add like something with the fourth quarter, Mr. Fourth Quarter, because in the fourth quarter he just takes over.
Yeah, man. I probably shouldn't be in awe of just what Chris Paul is doing, this late in his career. I know we all talk about LeBron James and his longevity, um, just the way he's arguably been one of the best players year in and year out, and still even in year 19. But you kind of see the same thing with Chris Paul, and I mean, he's just like I feel like I don't want to say reinvents himself, but like the point you made, he just knows how to adjust in a big way. And was it game two or game one where he went like 14 for
I
14?
think it was game one.
Game one, and it's like,
Yep.
dude, it's unreal. And we're definitely at an age now where the point guard is I mean, just the point guard position has just exploded with so much youth and athleticism, and to see him play at this high a level, at this point in his career is just it's really cool to see.
It's a very sour topic here
Yeah,
in among Houston Rockets fans. The Chris
yeah, I
Paul for
bet,
Russell
I
Westbrook
bet.
trade. I don't think there was a lot of people that were in love with that trade. Even with the contract that Chris Paul had, and it's a sour subject. And as I was watching him yesterday, I was, every bucket I was like, "Ugh," just kind of damn.
It
He
could have
was
been us.
that he
It could
was
have been.
on the Rockets, like and bringing back circle to the first topic with James Harden, right? Apparently, rumors for James Harden wanted him gone, and because from what I read some stuff, and it's Chris Paul was pushing James Harden, to better himself, and well, we know James Harden, so. but no, Chris Paul and look, but it's not also Devin Booker. He's efficient as well. I feel like Chris Paul has done so well. He's so smart about the position and how to control a game. He almost picks his spots throughout the game, but in the fourth quarter, he's like, "Oh, okay, now it's time to play."
Right.
Like
Yeah.
he's just to 3 quarters, he's kind of coasting, picking his spots, he's scoring little, assists,
Right. Just
giving the team
super
the ball.
efficient, but like when he knows that he really needs to rev it up, he knows when to flip that switch. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's crazy.
and Booker, the thing is, he doesn't need the ball in his hands as much. Catch and shoot, and he's automatic. Sometimes he's in
Yeah.
the post, just he could like a little jab step shot, boom, switch. I think that's what I meant with him, but efficient. But man, Mikhail Bridges, I mean, look, to their credit, well, I guess to Luca's credit, Luca's still getting it, but
Right.
that's all the maps have.
Right.
To the Suns have a good defense, but to Luca's credit, he's still getting it, man. He put it on the show in that first half. I thought
Hmm.
I said if he can repeat this in the second half, we got a tight series going to Dallas. Uh Clearly that didn't happen, but yeah, the Mavs for me this series is over as well. If I'm the Mavs, okay, we got to get Luca some help
Yeah,
fast. Like you need
very badly.
not even another superstar. You need another all-star. And I think about the Bucks with Chris Middleton. I don't think you put him in that superstar tier, but he's an all-star. He's a
Yeah.
Team USA player. They need somebody of that caliber on the Mavs because they have a solid team. They just need one more person. Jalen Brunson, he hasn't been able to replicate that first round success he had.
Right. Yeah. I mean, definitely see what you're saying with the Mavericks. Like they need that extra piece or two to really kind of put that whole team together. I think Jalen Brunson is sort of like that nice role player type of guy. I don't necessarily seen him maintaining like performance that he had in the first round. It was great to see. And I think he's getting better, but I wouldn't put him on like that Chris Middleton status where he can get to that level, at least not right away. And I think that's where probably Mavs fans hoped, Kristaps Porzingis when they got him, that's what he would kind of be, fresh
Right.
start, getting out of New York. That would be a nice little 1-2 combo with him and Luca. And I mean, obviously, like he's gone now. He's in
Here,
Washington of all
here,
places.
here's something that just entered my mind. DeAndre Ayton is a free agent after the season, right? Is he a
Yeah.
restricted or unrestricted?
Oh,
If he's unrestricted, if I'm Dallas, I'm calling, hey DeAndre, come play with Luca. That is a
feel
great
like
1-2.
I feel like I want
DeAndre
to say
make
he would be unrestricted.
unrestricted, right? That's what I'm thinking. But that's what they need. They don't need another wing player. I think they need another a 4 or 5 stretch 4 or 5. I know Rudy Gay's also going to be out there potentially, but he's I don't think they need that. Well, he could help on their defense, right? But I think they need more help scoring as
Yeah.
well. Um, but yes, but speaking about Chris Middleton, he's out for the second round series that the Milwaukee Bucks are playing with Boston Celtics. And to be honest, in that first game, they didn't miss him at all. Alex, the Bucks came out and they spanked the Boston Celtics, pretty much, plain and simple. So we just get right into game two. And game two, Boston came back. They got slapped. We're like, oh, okay, we're coming back. It's our turn.
Right.
And they came back and they tied up this series 1-1. And I gotta say, I'm intrigued to see how this series plays out. I'll just go on and say my prediction is the Bucks in 7. But once again, with that game 7, anything can happen. So that's why I'm intrigued to see how this series plays out. Because the Celtics, they have taken that step. I think beating the Brooklyn Nets was a big hurdle for them, and the way that they did it as well, sweep. I think they have confidence. I think they need that first game to kind of shock them back because they
Yeah.
had just won
Yep.
4 straight. Right, they,
Exactly.
they
Yep.
won 4 straight, so it's also
Yep.
like, oh, okay, I'm just, when you jump into a cold shower, oh, okay, I'm,
Right.
you know,
Exactly. Yeah, you definitely. Hey, that was gonna be my point right there. I think not only getting over the hump of Brooklyn, but it's like to be able to sweep them. It's kind of like, all right, you got a lot of confidence right into round two, a lot of momentum, and let's not forget. I mean, you can't forget that these are the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks, and they still got that man Giannis. So I think game one, who knows, it may have been a blessing in disguise where it's like, hey, okay, the competition is only going to get tougher, and here we are playing the defending champs. So like you said, I think it was just a great wake up call, and obviously this freaking duo. I remember we were talking a couple months back, like, yo, what's going on with the Celtics? Like, they need to get
Yeah,
their
yeah.
what together. Like, what's going on with Tatum and Brown? And they're just lighting it up. You had, what is it, Marcus Smart? He
My
just freaking
boy Marcus Smart, defensive
won
player of the
Defensive
year.
Player of the Year. So it's like, yeah, and hey, Al Horford, he's back in Boston, and he's doing
How
his
old is
little
he?
thing
Speaking
too.
of Chris Paul, we got to give Al Horford some credit. He's still out there, veteran, but
Yeah,
being
man.
productive.
Yeah. He oh man, I'm trying to, how old is he? I know he came into the league in like
He came
oh
with
seven with
Joakim
Noah.
Noah. Yeah.
Yeah, because they both went to Florida. They were drafted that same year. I mean, Noah, I mean, he's retired, and Horford's still kicking it. Yeah, man, I'm curious how
35
old.
years old.
He's 35. Wow,
35. 35. So, but no,
that's
it's
weird.
I think this I mentioned this ever since they started Marcus Smart into the starting lineup as their point guard in January, February. I think that's when they made that switch and started playing better. But look, that's why I'm interested to see how it play out. I know I picked Bucks in 7. It would not surprise me to see Boston pull it off in 7 games.
Yeah,
They do have home court advantage, so all they got to do is get one game in Milwaukee. That's all they need. Uh, the,
I mean,
the thing for me is just Giannis.
yeah,
I I I don't know who's gonna who can stop him from Boston, and but then again, it's also in a similar situation with Mavs and Luca is that Bucks need somebody else to step up. It's been Drew Holiday at times, it's been Boris Portis at times, but they need somebody to consistently also step up.
right. So I mean, yeah, I don't think in Boston's case, I don't really know if they can stop Giannis. But I think the best thing you do is try to contain him. But to Boston's favor, they don't got to worry about Chris Middleton. Like, I remember freaking round one when Middleton went down, everyone was like, "Hey, the Bulls might have like a little bit of a chance," and they got stomped. I mean, at least they got one game. They didn't get
Yeah.
swept, but in Boston's
Hey,
case, I mean,
hey,
they're
the
away.
Bulls made the playoffs. All right, baby steps, baby
I know,
steps.
yeah. I'm honestly just happy they made the playoffs, but but in
and
Boston's case,
an injured Bulls team at that.
God, they were so banged up going
So
into that
baby
series.
steps. But anyways, yes.
But anyway, Boston's definitely in a groove now where they can take advantage of the Bucks not having a guy like Middleton. And once again, like, okay, we know Bobby Portis can step up, Drew Holiday can step up, but you knew Middleton, was that second guy where pretty much no matter what, um, if Giannis may have an off game here or there, like, Middleton was gonna step up. So once again, it's one of those where it's like, if you're able to contain Giannis, then things can kind of swing your way. So,
And it
we'll
may be a
see.
situation where Boston changes their defensive plan and instead it's like, Giannis, get yours, but you're gonna be the only one. You're gonna score 100 to beat us.
Right, yeah.
So they could take that approach, which some teams take on some star players. They're like, you do you. Nobody else is eating. You're the only one eating.
Yeah. It's like, hey, do
Uh,
what you gotta do, but no one else. If you're gonna get something, you gotta work for it. You gotta earn it.
you gotta earn it. Um, and look, I think it's gonna be. I was trying to see if I could switch, but no, I'm thinking Buck 7 just because of the Giannis factor. Now here's the thing, you know,
Yeah, man. Giannis
i-
is just
if we say Bucks are winning and then we say the Heat are winning, that's where I think I'm not sure if the Bucks can get over the Heat in a 7-game series without Chris Middleton. I
yeah,
think
that's fair.
I think just the defensive presence of Heat. Even though we're talking about these conference finals, let us get there. We still have
Right, yeah.
one more semifinal playoff to talk about. And Alex, it's been the most fun to watch, in my opinion. Grizzlies, Warriors.
Oh yeah, and dude, this one is. I was watching game two, with a buddy of mine. And I'm just like, I remember I had pulled out my phone and I looked at him. I'm like, dude, like, Charles got like 35 right now. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, I mean, he already got a game. I'm like, dude, I think he's gonna tack on a couple a couple more points. And sure enough, man, down the stretch, that dude was an assassin. Dude.
Mhm.
He finished with like 47 in game
Yep.
two, 47 points. Man's playing out of his mind right now.
he definitely. Okay, let's be fair. Grizzlies should be up 2-0 right now. They were there in game one. You
Yeah.
know, Jaw missed that left-handed layup, and I think that's why he came back. He's like, yeah, he felt that miss. You know, and
Hmm.
he's very hard on himself. And this was propelled him to be the player that he is. You know, and also because his dad hates him, but not hates him. We know what I mean, right? Like he hates on him on the game, which I love the relationship. Uh, but yeah, so I think he felt bad for that miss, and he's like, I need to come back in game two. We cannot lose two games here in our home court, you know. And he went into that kind of, you know, that Giannis mode whenever we saw him in the finals. He's like, we're winning tonight.
Hmm.
Like, you know, like that was Jaw's mentality. And look, to the Warriors' credit, they were there. The Warriors were right there. You know,
Yeah.
this is, you know, that's why I said this has been the most fun series to watch because there's two teams that have very uh, offenses that just are bursting, right? Like a lot of threes, highlights. We've had a couple of flagrant fouls, couple ejections too. So it has had everything. Every game has been close, and it's kind of the I don't want to say the old guard because I don't consider the Golden State Warriors old. I think they still have plenty of more years to be good, you
Yeah.
know. But they're not the young bucks anymore. They're not
Right.
the Warriors of the 15. You know, they made them interesting step. The last time the Warriors were in the last time the Grizzlies won the semifinals was in 2015, and their opponent was the Golden State Warriors. At that
Hmm.
time, the Golden State Warriors were young Steph Curry, young Draymond Green, young
Right.
Klay Thompson.
Memphis had just came off of a Western Conference final, I want to say the year before
I
against
think
San
the
Antonio.
yes, I think it was the year before.
So it's interesting how that's kind of flipped now, where
That's
the
gonna
Warriors
flip.
are seasoned vet, where they got the rings, they got the experience, and now here the Memphis Grizzlies, young, hungry, what the Warriors were when they faced them last time. So it's an interesting contrast.
It's an interesting contrast, you know. But it's interesting because, like I said, I think the Warriors still have maybe 3, 4 good years left. And the Grizzlies, well, we know them, but look beyond Jaw, the Grizzlies, like I wonder if there's a front office award that maybe I'm unaware of that maybe like they just give amongst themselves, but there needs to be one every year, and the Grizzlies could win it for the past couple of years the way that they've drafted, you know, because they haven't always had high draft picks, right? Jaws is number two; he's the highest draft pick. Some of the other ones have been like low tens,
Right?
20s, you know,
Was
but
Jaren Jack? Was Jaren
I
Jackson
think it was
lottery? Or
13, 14. He was in the
okay,
teens.
okay, he was
I
maybe
could be
like
wrong.
right
Let's see.
around lottery or just outside the lottery. I know Jaren Jackson was kind of a high draft pick, but I don't think he was
Oh,
like.
fourth. My mistake, Jaron
Oh,
Jackson.
okay, damn,
My
my
mistake.
bad.
No, and look, and I should have said think it was higher because it has been his coming out party. This
Hmm.
series has been his coming out party. He can do it all. Offense, defense. Uh he's who I thought the Andre Ayton was gonna be. You know, offense and defense.
Oh,
Not to compare them, right?
yeah,
They have
interesting.
they have different games, you know. Uh
But
but no,
I get where you're kind of going at, where I guess the offensive production that you're seeing coming out of Jaren Jackson is what you thought you'd be seeing out of DeAndre Jordan. I mean DeAndre Jordan, DeAndre Aiden, a
right.
little more. Not to say that he can't score, but with Phoenix, like he's not there to be the guy that put up 20, 30 points a game. No.
And that's what I'm saying, Dallas. Mark Cuban, give him a call, Mark Cuban. I can already see a Luca and DeAndre. Oh man. But yes, back to the Memphis. You know, I think that front office and that the coaching staff, the way that they've developed players, and even when they drafted Jaw, really since they drafted Jaw, he just started lifting the franchise. You know, little by little, little by little.
Yeah, man, I was
Uh,
on the jaw hype train since he got drafted, man. I love that guy coming out of Murray State. I'm like, this is the guy. I know everyone's talking about Zion. I mean, not that people weren't talking about Ja. I'm like, honestly, I could see Ja surpassing Zion at least early on. I didn't expect it to be this quick, but
yeah,
yeah, man, he's just totally just rejuvenated that franchise.
he has rejuvenated that franchise, and I personally I would like to see him stay there. Uh, and kind of transform that franchise how Giannis kind of transformed the Bucks franchise. You know, he signed that big
Interesting
contract.
comparison.
You know, he signed that big contract. He's gonna stay there. Now, granted, later on when he's older or better, maybe he leaves, right? But at least he already did something. He brought them a title. And I feel like that's what Ja can do for Memphis. It's just because you can see it. He's a good leader.
Yeah.
He's a good leader. Uh, but look, we have to shout out one other player. I'm blanking out on his name right now.
You talking about
Second leading scorer of the Grizzlies.
Are you talking about Desmond Bain?
Desmond Baines. There you go. I was thinking Dylan Brooks, but no, Dylan Brooks was the one that got ejected game
Yeah.
too. Yes, Desmond Baines, man. I have been impressed with him this season. When Ja was out part of some games this season, the Grizzlies almost didn't miss a beat, and that was
Yeah, no, not at all.
I think they were 21-3 or 22-2, something to that regard, 22-4,
Right, they
something
lost like
to
a handful of games, and
a
that was
handful
without
of
John.
games without John. That was because Desmond Baines. That
Hmm.
was his going on party, and that's a testament to the coaches that they trusted him, and they're like, I don't know if they had that conversation, but they just decided to give him more a bigger role, and he ate during that
Yeah,
that whole stretch.
yeah, man, he took advantage. He's a gritty guy. I would say, God, I've been saying gritty like this whole episode. It's like I need to read a thesaurus. But what I will say is that I like how you mentioned that Ja is kind of like the leader of that team. I will say Desmond Bain has sort of grown to be the heart of that team. Just that guy that everyone can rely on, I guess, per se. And just for him to step up the way that he did this season in the absence of John Moran, it's like it was literally like you almost forgot that Ja was out. It was just like you would see the a Memphis score. And it's like, oh, they won again, and then half the time you're like, oh wait, Ja's been out. Like he isn't even playing, and this team, like you said, hasn't missed a beat at all. And that's definitely in part to the way Desmond Bain's been playing this year. So yeah, man, just the way this Memphis Grizzlies team has developed and just so quickly, it's kind of refreshing to see. I think we've grown tired of the whole like super team thing where just a team goes all out to get a superstar player, get like a nice little big three together, and then it's like, all right, they're favorites, they're gonna go win a championship, and that's it. But you look at the Memphis Grizzlies, and a lot of these guys are through the draft, just homegrown, and they've built that team up pretty much from the ground up, and look at where they're at.
And it's interesting because they've still kept that grit and grind attitude. They've still kept it, and the offenses was really gotten better around that whole concept. And now to Golden State Warriors. I mean, they're the Golden State Warriors. They're
Right.
ball movement is there. Defense is there. They're the way they do their passing lanes. It's just speaking of Miami as a well-owned machine, you could say that same thing for the Golden State Warriors. Now here's where I put you on the spot. Who's your pick in this series? Go.
Memphis.
And what? How many games?
Oh, man. Man, I kind of actually want to say 6 games. I don't know why, but I feel like
Interesting.
it's gonna go 7. I don't know. Like it's tough because it's the Warriors at the same time too, and now
Right.
you're seeing Jordan Poole. He's coming into his own as the
Ooh.
third Splash Brother. You got Gary Payton the second, who's
And I
been
mean, we
playing
should have seen
important
it
minutes,
coming,
even though
right?
he's out. Yeah.
Jordan Poole, we should have seen it coming. Splash Brother. I mean, it was right there in his name. Jeez.
Yep. So I mean, well, I know Gary Payton is the second. I almost just left. I just want to call him Gary Payton, but it's like I don't want people to get
The
confused. Like Gary
second.
Payton's playing Gary
He is
Payton the
back.
second. Yeah, he's back, but yeah, no, unfortunately he's out. So I know probably like Andrew Wiggins is. I want to say he's gonna kind of be filling that role at least defensively that Gary Payton's been playing in the lineup. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like with all the confidence that Memphis has, the way they've been playing all year. I know the Warriors. I mean, they were good this year, but they were a little bit banged up, and I don't know. Like it's gonna be a tough series, but I think Memphis just has a little bit of that edge in them that they'll get past Golden State.
I got Memphis in 7 as well. That is my pick. I picked them before the series started. I knew for sure the series has to go 7 games. I think
Yeah,
um
I probably should say 7. It's like
yeah,
I want them to just close it out in 6, but yeah, I'll probably go 7.
it'll be tough. I think Golden State's gonna go down swinging, but that's my pick. Memphis in 7. We'll see what happens. Tonight's games, we got the 76ers against the Heat and the Mavs against the Phoenix Suns. 2-0 series, right? Yeah, right. that's who playing today on Friday. On Friday, because you guys are listening. Yeah, somebody says, yeah, that is correct.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yes.
We're recording and there's like no games whatsoever. It's
I
kind of
know
weird.
it's very odd. It's very odd. But so that was the 55th episode of the Basketball Fiends. We'll come back next week. Hopefully, both of us once again will make a consecutive return, make a back-to-back episodes.
I should be back.
We should be back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
should I mean, I hope so.
We'll all
I
be
probably
back.
I shouldn't say I shouldn't say it. Be like, oh yeah, and then I can't.
No,
make
we're
it.
gonna put it out to the universe. Alex will be back. Me, Jesus will be back, and you, the listener, will be back to the 56th episode of the Basketball Fiends. But for now, thank you so much for listening, and don't forget to subscribe. See ya.
Deuces.